The most powerful way to raise your vibration instantly. Let's get into it.
This video will show you the most powerful way to raise your vibration. I'm going to show you practical tools towards really being able to let go of what doesn't serve you to then become the best version of yourself and to feel good almost all of the time.
Almost all of the time.
Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the most powerful tools, the most powerful perspective that has allowed me to feel good a majority of the time. Now, it's going to be an understanding that this is also the way that we raise our vibration in the quickest possible way. It's something I've shared a couple times before, but what I want to do is make a specific video about it so that you have a video you can come back to towards understanding how to raise your set point for how you feel. Now,
there you go. You said it. Raise how you feel, or basically how to brainwash yourself to feel like you're the boss.
With this process, understand that I'm going to be using it under the basis of the scale you may have seen many times on this channel. It's from a scale that's from the book called Power versus Force by David.
Okay, what is this? Ultimate consciousness, pure Tao, flow, getting by, suffering. Oh, right? Shame, it has its points. Grief, enlightenment, 700 to 1,000 points of light. That's it. Okay, it means in your face. Okay. The blue and the red, purple. Even in that scheme, it's upside down.
David Hawkins, and it's understanding that there are different levels of vibrational states of being. Now, under these levels, you'll notice that at the bottom you have emotions such as shame, such as guilt, such as anger, and then eventually you move into willingness, neutrality. Above that, you have closer to more of love, acceptance, then love, then joy, then peace, all the way up to enlightenment. Now, years ago, I'm talking maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, I'm not saying I'm enlightened, but what I am saying is that 4 or 5 years ago, before I started meditating and I really started to learn all this stuff, before I did that, I was mainly engrossed in these bottom emotional states of being. I was mainly feeling guilt. I was feeling anger from my childhood and some of the things that I went through. I was having attachments to perspectives that just weren't serving me. But this is what I realized. When I started to meditate, there was something that happened to me. I became very aware of my thoughts. Now, our thoughts are always going to be from certain perspectives, and there's going to be certain momentum from our thoughts. So I had a lot of thoughts that were in momentums and perpetual loops of feeling anger about certain.
So what, you're just gonna make a list of the emotions that you're feeling because of a thought and then look at this chart and say, oh, I should just not think those things, and all of a sudden you're brainwashed, okay? Because you just basically shut that out. You're in denial. Because if you're feeling these base, emotions, that's what's controlling you. Okay? Not that you didn't know that you were thinking that way, or that you can't think your way out of it, okay?
Things of feeling shame or guilt for things I maybe could have done but I didn't do, and those would be self-perpetual. But the moment I started to meditate and I started to observe my thoughts, and this is the difference between observing thoughts to controlling, the major game changer for me that when it came to raising my vibration was when I was able to observe my thoughts rather than react. Because the first 2 or 3 days I started meditating, I was so focused on trying to control my thoughts. I was learned about the secret, and I knew the idea of our thoughts were creating our experience. So I became like this person that was trying to.
Okay, what buffoon doesn't, assimilate before they act? Are you constantly reacting? Looks like you do. Look at those eyes. Lost in the abyss. Okay?
Control, and if I had a negative thought, I would like kind of try to get it out of my mind and I would resist it. That causes more of that perpetuation. The game changer was when I let the thoughts be there and I observed them from a neutral place. I wouldn't label them as good or bad, they just simply were. That was the game.
What a concept. Right? You got lazy with that statement because there's nothing new under the sun, okay? If one lets a situation and thus an associated pattern of thought and how you filter it and how you're going to therefore carry it forward comes into play to your daily living, okay, yes, those are all influences, but you can't think your way out of it. You can realize what you've been thinking and realize you're wrong. Why aren't you saying I was wrong? I was living a wrong way. No, because no, you keep living the same way. Now you're just more brainwashed because you think you have the answer to a blissful being, right? While you sink deeper into the rabbit hole of the abyss that calls for you to expand further. Yes. Expand your mind, expand your consciousness, raise your vibration to a higher state. So what happens when you don't, right? Oh, well, you're just lower conscious, lower vibratory being. So you think that they're equal, or in this, inverted pyramid, somehow the enlightened occupy most area and suffering is minimal? I mean, I don't know. Let's see what else you have to say.
Game changer. Now let's look at where that is on the scale. If you go down to willingness, what you realize, you'll have willingness and then under that neutrality. Neutrality is where all the power is because as you are able to observe your thoughts, it takes the charge of these lower emotions out of the equation. Now, the best and most powerful way to do this is through the medium of forgiveness. Forgive anybody that's ever done anything wrong to you. Forgive yourself for any situation you may have put yourself in. And as you simply let things be, as you forgive, you neutralize. That's where all the power is in letting go of all these perspectives that no longer serve.
You just gotta neutralize, man. Just gotta neutralize. You just gotta become neutered. Neutered his brain. If this guy believes in evolution, then he's neutered in the brain. Why does he think this way? Well, of course he would think this way. It's what's made him feel good about all the shame and anger and guilt and blah blah blah. Doesn't mean he's overcome. It just means he's parroting nonsense. You have to separate yourself from the world, the worldly things that you probably want to raise your vibration to obtain or have in decadence. You are deluding yourself in believing that this chart and your belief system is how to get it. You've been
all
lied
these
to.
lower emotional states of being. Because remember, These emotional states of being are on loops. They're going to continue to perpetuate themselves. And as we fall back into the habitual hypnotic.
Yeah, but again, this guy's talking about like you somehow have control, right? He's saying just observe the thoughts, man. Just observe them. But ultimately, you're gonna observe the ones that you want to, right? False sense of control, false sense of will. There's only one will, and either you're with it or you're not.
Thoughts that we have, because as scientists show, most of what we think is on repetition. We keep falling back and falling back into that realm of thinking. But the key is to become aware of the way we think.
Yeah, you keep falling back because you're wrong, okay? Plain and simple. People call it mistakes, whatever, but it's just you're wrong. You're wrong. And when people say, "Oh, just make as many mistakes as possible," that's how you get to success. That's worthless advice, okay? I was basically telling you you don't know your mouth from your asshole, okay? Telling you, "Oh, you just gotta figure it out." um, First of all, there's nothing to figure out. There's only everything to live, okay? That doesn't mean going and jumping off bridges and traveling the world. No. You have eternal life, right, to bask in eternity, or you can love light and all this other nonsense with the promise of worldly raising. You want to raise your vibration to somehow be a better person instead of being humble, admitting you're wrong, and ascribing to the way of the living God that gave you the life that you forgot about, and just account for it through billions and mindless mind brains of confusion of numbers of distance away, and you're okay with it.
Is to become aware and able to neutralize it. So realize that neutrality is one of the most powerful ways to let go of all the negative perspectives, and the most powerful way to do that is through forgiveness. Now, this comes from understanding.
Okay, that is a very profound truth. Yes, this is. I agree with you. It's probably we're almost 5 minutes in, and I'm surprised. I thought it would be raising my vibration already.
That perspectives come from attachment to memories, attachment to stories. So when we become aware of our stories, I had a certain story, and now I can look back at my story and see, hey, I.
When do you become aware of your story? Oh, how deluded and self-involved you have to be. Obviously, if you have anger for your life, you hate your life. I mean, you're aware of your situation every day. It's the source of your anger, okay? Or the injustice or the abuse or whatever situation, you know it, okay? It's almost just the neutralization of your brain that can't handle it. It's his brain and many others, okay? It's a cult of state of, it's a perception, it's a perspective that this type of mind has, okay? I believe in this.
I went through that, I can help other people let go of negative things as well, but it doesn't control my life. I had a story of having somebody that was in my life that was very controlling, my ex-stepmom, and she treated me and my brother a certain way, and we were deprived of hanging out with friends. We were deprived of having any normal childhood whatsoever because she was in our life. That's a story, and even though I'm aware that it's there, there's no negativity to it because it eventually left.
Okay, that is an example of evil, obviously. You can say this mother stepmom was, you know, a bad mom, but obviously her influence of how she lived is in alignment to the worship of death. Okay, which is why you lived what you lived, and now, yeah, you realized, and very rightfully, that you have to forgive. You, but you also have to renounce the world, deny the flesh. Okay, we are. That's the block.
Led me to a lot of the information I'm sharing with you now. It led me to wanting to go deeper within myself to let those negative aspects go. So it's a neutralization of it, an awareness, but not an attachment. There's a difference between awareness and attachment. Have the awareness of what your story is. Have an awareness of where your attachments are and simply decide to let them go by changing the focus of how bad it was to how it can be neutral, how it could have actually benefited you. A lot of benefits in the negative things I went through because it led me to my awakening of this information, to me going more within, and all the things I'm sharing with you on this channel. So, the other thing I'm going to explain with this as the most powerful way to raise your vibration is to simply change your environments. Now, people many times will hold us into similar frames. They'll hold us into a similar expectancy of how they expect you to act. And if
Yeah, like you are doing right here. Okay.
you maybe have been negative before in the past, they may expect you to be negative. Or if they're negative and you don't feed into their negativity and agree with their story and they're complaining, then they're going to treat you a certain way. And what you need to realize is you may need to change some of your environment. Now, this means you may need to get away from certain people that bring you down, that are very negative. This means you may need to get into a completely different environment as far as where you are in your day-to-day life. Maybe certain
Right. You have no problem in just, abandoning people because you've been abandoned. Okay. You can see the lack of love in those eyes. Okay. What was that
things are priming you to feel a certain way. If your room makes you feel a certain way and you look around and things are always reminding you of the past, then that will create more of those feelings. Now, of course, you could
Why does this
reduce
guy
and
keep
release
flashing the like? Okay, I mean, it's he a butterfly? Oh, okay.
the attachment to the stories. You could simply decide to let them go. You could neutralize them. But what you could also do is get into a new environment. That's what I did. I learned how to meditate. I learned how to expand my horizons for where I am.
Oh, let me guess. That just means finding other people that are doing the same thing you are. Expanding their minds, meaning opening their minds to the brainwashing and the complete annihilation of your soul. All the while, you believe you're expanding your soul. It's quite sinister, but this guy does not see it.
That allowed me to feel good a majority of the time. And I'm not kidding you guys. I used to feel those lowering emotions a lot. Not saying that I never feel them at all anymore, but what I am saying is I feel good a majority of the time. And I believe the reason that is because I have let go of these lower emotions and I've started to accept, allow, surrender to the moment. When you let go of all this baggage, what then happens is you allow yourself to become present to the moment, which is where all the power really is. So from that point
Oh no, he did it. He just said it. The power of the moment. Oh, listen to me. Oh. It's amazing because his whole life he probably just, was kicked around. I mean, in a lot of ways we all have. But now he's learned how to overcome that emotionally, meaning he can maybe look at those emotions or even feel them and he's developed tools, or he knows how to escape them, right? So that they don't interfere with his moment, right? Because he wants to feel that power and that. But have you really forgiven, right? Because why is it that you need to raise your vibration? Somehow, if you're not in that higher vibration, you're lacking something, or maybe it's that people are totally immoral, right? And you just call it raise your vibration. You know, identify as being, better than somebody else, even though you're the same depravite, the same hypocrite, the same denier of the life that you just trash and smash every day.
Forward, you can focus on gratitude. Once you let go of all these things, you can focus on things you're grateful for, and this is going to
Look at
be the game
flashing
changer for
again,
you. This is something
butterflies.
I'm just now learning about. This is something that can really change everything. Now, it's understanding this idea by what is called the Heart Math Institute. The Heart Math Institute, there's a book called Heart Math Solution.
Oh,
It's about
again. Tell you to focus on electromagnetism. Oh, the heart, all these experiments. Yes, it's written in the heart, okay? Yet you have the choice to remain in the world and accept this stone heart. You're shaped. The life essence is shaped as a stone, bound to the world. Or it is renewed through the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, and you abide in life, for life, and you love God and truth more than anything, than anyone. Why don't you talk about how that's what life is, right? Oh, it's just nonsense what somebody wrote in a book. Well, no, it's a way of the way of coming to know the end. You're not going to ever raise your vibration high enough to unscramble what you're scrambling in your brain by believing that you have the power to better yourself. You are a worm in a field of fertilizer from the excrement of that which feeds on us, okay? In the world. Dust nourishes, but it serves the purpose. The purpose could be seen as the flesh, but the meaning is the spirit, okay? I mean, obviously, we're in this realm, this reality, for a purpose and a meaning, satisfying of completion, to finish the undone, as far as the witness goes. You must witness, your eyes must be open in order to see. You must accept you're wrong and seek the wisdom of your Creator, of your living God. And it is not found in this or any New Age concept. Okay, it's and in any so-called religion. I mean, it's just a simple observation that, I mean, even because it's so profound that anyone anywhere could come to this and know its profound truth. You don't need to quote anything, right? I mean, denial is key to this. Okay, just remember that.
Understanding the power of our heart and how the power of our heart is connected to the brain, how we can create coherence between the communication of the heart to the brain.
Okay, when you go jogging, do you tell your heart, okay, beat faster? No, it just does it. Okay. Same with how any experiment that can come to observe the dynamics between the mind, electromagnetism, and the heart, and the exchange and the Merkaba. You can say it forms around you and all this, but that actually doesn't do anything for the responsibility that it still entails.
And how the electromagnetic energy of the heart is much more strong and powerful than that of the head. Now,
Again, flashing the butterfly. Okay, so the current, that's all that I mean, that's all that matters. That's what matters, the current. The exchange. We are the ultimate exchange, the ultimate currency. Expendable as one might believe themselves to be, there is a witness. There is a witnessing in your through your testimony as a being in this world. And you either succumb to it and perish, suffer and die, or you overcome the end, right? There's no super bolt level. There's no. This is just light worship, okay? By your reasoning, okay, your brain, right? That's right. It's inverted. You're inverted. Your brain actually is low vibrating, and then it should be your uh genitalia, your supposed root chakra, that's the most elevated, which would make more sense if it's results in life, the replication of life, two becoming one, the holy matrimony, the holy marriage, whatever, the holy union. So, what are you pushing, buddy? Okay? I think it's clear.
the easiest thing you can do in order to really explain this is to realize that there are hormones in the heart that regulate stress within the body. If you feel gratitude and if you feel positive emotion and there is a powerful connection between your head and your heart, what happens is there is a deregulator hormone that goes through the body that regulates stress and makes it so you don't feel as much cortisol. At the same time, you will increase a hormone in the heart that is related to what is called oxytocin. Or there's a different way to say it, but oxytocin is the hormone that is around connected to other people that has to do with feeling good. Now, what you can begin to do is to put your hands over your heart and to feel gratitude every day, to remember an emotion and remember a positive memory in your life of feeling connected to other people. As you do this,
or hook yourself up to oxytocin and just bypass what this guy is saying, right? Obviously, that's not a good idea, but if this guy just thinks that it's just all about producing that, hormone at the right levels or even influencing how you promote these, blah, blah, blah. Again, says who, right? I mean, Bravo, you can quote, a system within the body that, certain people have supposedly observed. or done experiments with to determine. So, and they've actually, they named a certain molecule, and they know that that specific one, is the one, and all this stuff. And you're like, yeah, man, that's what it is. I just need to raise that enough, and then, you know, I'll reach a new level. First of all, why do you have histology? A way, the infinite ways your body communicates. Okay. And you might say, yeah, there's regulatory cells and hormones and pathways and synapses and tissues and connections and valves and pores and come on. I mean, yeah, great. You can describe the components. It's like a person describing, yep, the fuel goes through the fuel orange. It describes the whole thing beautifully, right? Great. Now what does it do? Well, it dries. Okay, great. Same. Oh, great. Pathways. Okay, amazing. What does it do? Oh, it's like this amazing masterpiece. Just master. It's a flesh regulator. It's the flesh that is surrounded by the breath. Okay. You can't raise that. You have no influence as far as um the flesh is simply the manifestation of a spiritual state. Okay. End of story.
You are literally raising your vibration and you are expanding out your energy. You are allowing yourself to really feel that. And it is a very powerful way to then connect to the coherence of the brain. So, this is something that is newer for me that I'm really coming to understand because a lot of the
I don't think you'll ever understand it because it's made up. Okay, it's not real.
information on this channel is related to the idea of the intellectualness of the head, letting go of the beliefs that no longer serve us, the definitions we're attached to. But when we connect that to the coherence of the heart, there is so much power in that, and it will change just about everything. What I recommend doing to really raise your vibration.
Can you imagine if this is real? Can you imagine all of a sudden, oh no, you're not in alignment with your heart and mind. You need correction. Who's gonna give that correction, huh? That's only in alignment to be possessed, okay, and brainwashed. That's the practices that, or the experiments that all these things are coming out with. It's only to further entrap you, okay, a scramble what you call heart. But really, you can just scramble your brain because God stirs the heart, okay? No one else, not you. If a chick broke up your heart and you said that she broke your heart, no, that's just because you didn't know what love is. You are separated from the Father, and you seek approval from others. Therefore, that's why you want to appear as the most successful according to this. And I don't know, you're confused.
Is when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do right when you wake up, put your hands over your heart while you're still in bed. Focus on things you're grateful for. Focus on feeling the energy in your heart grow and expand more and more. And as you then imagine that connection to your head, what you can then do is focus on the feeling and watch how that powerfully influences your whole day. So, with that being said,
Right. Fill yourself with self righteousness, and of course that'll boost you for the day. Yeah, just do that. Why is this guy I mean, is he clear? Is he that gone? Is he that gone? He's that gone. He's gone full Satan, full Satan. Another one bites dust. Well, truly, because he believes in dust.
Remember that all you have to do is let go of the attachment to the story that you might be telling yourself. Become more observant of your thoughts rather than reactive. And as you do that, you're naturally starting to raise your vibrational set point. From that point, change your environment. Realize that as you simply focus on gratitude, as you focus on that connection from your heart to your head, everything will begin to change. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if
Okay, instead of this guy, I mean, how I let go of my painful past. Okay, maybe I get it, but what are you talking about? Pushing this false image of what it is to really overcome. Because you're talking about how to overcome to then be loved in the world and how to be successful in the world, you know, and just create people that are just faking it till they make it, smashing the wall, corrupting further, and that's ultimately what the endurance has led us to this. Okay, I'll end it right there.